Hello, friends. Today, let's listen to the story of the boy who did not value food. In a cozy home lived a young boy named Abhimanyu, who everyone lovingly called Abhi. Abhi was a cheerful and energetic kid, always busy with something, playing games on his phone, watching videos, or chatting with his friends. But there was one thing about Abhi that quietly worried his parents. He was very fussy about food. One morning, the kitchen was filled with the aroma of freshly made food. Abhi's mother had prepared a lovely breakfast and packed his lunchbox. She called out gently, Abhi, she said, your food is ready, and I've packed your lunch too. Abhi walked in, his eyes still fixed on the phone. Without even sitting properly, he opened his lunchbox and made a face. Ma, again this sabji roti? I don't like this. His mother smiled patiently. At least try it, Abhi. I've made it fresh for you. But Abhi barely listened. No one takes this kind of food, Ma. My friends bring pasta and burgers. He shut the lunchbox casually, picked it up, and walked out, still scrolling on his phone. Before he left, his mother said softly, Abhi, food is a blessing. Don't waste it. But Abhi had already moved on to the next thing on his screen. That afternoon, the door opened with a thud as Abhi returned from school and dropped his bag on the sofa. His mother came out, smiling warmly. You're back, Abhi, she exclaimed. Come, I've kept your food ready. Abhi nodded absent-mindedly and pulled out his lunchbox, placing it on the table. The moment his mother picked it up, she could tell it was still heavy. She opened it slowly. Most of the food was untouched. She looked at him, a little surprised. Abhi, she asked, you did not eat your lunch? Abhi shrugged, not even looking up. I told you, Nama, I don't like that sabzi, he said. He sat down, still glued to his phone. Everyone brings better food. Pasta, sandwiches, not this, he said. For a moment, his mother said nothing. Then, very gently, she said, But beta, I made it fresh for you. At least you could have eaten a little more. Abhi did not respond. He was too busy watching something on his screen. After a small pause, she tried again, this time with a soft smile. All right, tomorrow I'll make pasta for you, the mother said. Abhi finally looked up, a little interested. Really? He asked. Yes, his mother said. Your favorite. He nodded, satisfied, and went back to his phone. The next morning, his mother woke up extra early and prepared pasta, just the way she thought Abhi would like it. When Abhi opened his lunchbox at school, his face lit up for a moment. But that evening, when he returned home, his mother asked hopefully if Abhi had the pasta. He kept his bag down casually and said it was okay. She waited, expecting more. But the salt was a little less, he said. His mother paused for a second, then nodded softly. At least you ate it? She asked. A little, he replied, already distracted again. And slowly, without anyone really noticing, it became a pattern. No matter what his mother made, there was always something to complain about. That evening, the family gathered around the dinner table. The warm aroma of the freshly prepared meal filled the room. Abhi's mother had made a simple but delicious dinner, steaming soup, fresh roti, and a few vegetable dishes. His little sister reached eagerly for the soup, her eyes sparkling. Ma, pass me the soup. It smells so nice, she said, smiling as her mother served her a bowl. Abhi, meanwhile, was already buried in his phone, scrolling and tapping, barely noticing the food in front of him. His father, noticing the moment, smiled and looked at Abhi. Abhi, do you like the soup? He asked. It's really very delicious. Abhi glanced up briefly, still half distracted. It's okay, he replied, returning immediately to his game. His sister giggled at his response and whispered to their mother. Abhi never enjoys anything, she said. Abhi frowned at her whisper and muttered, I'm busy, leave me alone, he said. He took a spoonful of the soup, tasted it casually, and pushed it aside. The roti and vegetables remained mostly untouched. His mother tried again, a little firmer this time. Abhi, keep your phone aside and eat a little. See how your sister is enjoying her meal? Abhi shrugged without really moving. I don't like this. It's too hot, and the taste is. His father shook his head gently, sighing. Abhi, at least try a little. You can't always be picky about everything, he said. But Abhi was already back on his phone, tapping away, distracted and unconcerned about the meal sitting before him. For a moment, his mother simply watched him quietly, her heart heavy but patient. She did not say anything else, letting the silence speak as Abhi continued his routine, complaining, ignoring the food, and scrolling endlessly. By the end of dinner, the family had eaten and cleaned up, while Abhi's plate remained almost untouched, a quiet reminder of his fussy, distracted habits. The weekend arrived, and with it, a special treat. The family decided to order pizza, hoping that Abhi might finally enjoy something he truly liked. The doorbell rang, and the pizza boxes were placed on his table. The warm, cheesy aroma filled the room, making everyone's mouths water. His little sister clapped her hands in excitement. Ma, let's eat, she exclaimed. This is so good. Abhi, of course, was already busy on his phone, replying to messages and tapping away at his game. He barely looked at the pizzas. His mother smiled and tried to get his attention. Abhi, come on, have some pizza. It's your favorite, she said. He glanced up briefly. Yeah, I'll eat later. My friend just called me for a game, he said. By the time he finally picked up a slice, the pizza had cooled a little. He took a bite, chewed softly, and then made a face. It's okay, I guess, he said. But it's become cold, he muttered, putting the slice back. His mother said gently, Don't worry, Abhi, I'll warm it up for you. He waved his hand dismissively. No, Ma, anyway, it's too cheesy. His father shook his head, sighing. Abhi, even your favorite food is not enough to make you happy, huh? He said. His mother watched quietly, a little concerned. After a pause, she turned to his father. Maybe we should take him to the doctor, get his blood tested, see if there's something wrong with his appetite, she said softly. His father nodded. Yes, maybe we need to understand why he does not enjoy his food. It's not healthy for him to eat little and complain all the time. Abhi, of course, did not hear this conversation. He was already back to his game, obvious to the worry his parents felt. The rest of the family finished their meal, enjoying the pizza together, while Abhi's half-eaten slice remained on his plate. A quiet reminder of his fussy habits, distracted mind, and constant complaints. After seeing Abhi's constant fussiness and small appetite, his mother finally booked an appointment with the doctor. The next morning, Abhi reluctantly went along, still scrolling on his phone as he walked into the clinic. The doctor greeted him warmly. Hello, Abhimanyu, or should I call you Abhi? Abhi shrugged, barely even looking up. Abhi is fine, he mumbled. The doctor smiled gently and asked a few simple questions about what he liked to eat, how often he was hungry, and his daily habits. Then he explained softly, We'll do a small blood test to make sure everything is fine. Nothing to worry about. Abhi sat nervously as the nurse prepared the test, fidgeting and tapping his fingers on the chair. The needle prick was quick, and before he knew it, it was done. See, that was not so bad, his mother said, patting his shoulder. Abhi nodded, still a little grumpy, but relieved it was over. The following day, the reports came. His mother and father sat together, reading through the results. Thankfully, everything was normal. Abhi was healthy. His mother let out a sigh of relief. Thank goodness, she said. There's nothing medically wrong with him, she said, smiling softly. His father nodded. Yes, but we need to help him learn to eat better, appreciate food, and not waste it. It's not just about health, it's about gratitude too. Abhi, meanwhile, had no idea about their discussion. He was still busy on his phone, tapping away, unaware of the relief and conversation happening right beside him. A few weeks later, Abhi came running home from school, his backpack bouncing on his shoulder and a big smile on his face. Ma! Ma! He called out as he threw his bag on the sofa. His mother looked up from the kitchen, wiping her hands on her apron. Yes, Abhi, what is it? She asked. I told you last month, right? He said, practically bouncing in excitement. You know, the school is organizing a 2-day camp. Did you pay for it yet? I want to go, he asked. His mother smiled, a little amused at his eagerness. Of course, Abhi, I remember. I paid for the trip last week. You'll be going with your classmates. Don't worry, she said. Abhi's eyes lit up. Yay! I can't wait, he said. We're going to camp for 2 whole days. I hope we get to do all the activities, games, trekking, and the campfire. His mother nodded, ruffling his hair gently. Don't forget to pack everything you need, Abhi. And remember, no fussing with food while you're there. You'll get meals prepared by the school, and this is a good time to learn to appreciate them. Being in a group, you learn how to eat properly, share, and enjoy your meals with others. Abhi waved his hand casually. Don't worry, Ma, I'll be fine, he said. Little did anyone know the camp would soon test him in ways that no games or gadgets ever could, and teach him a lesson about food, patience, and gratitude. The day of the school trip arrived, and Abhi could hardly contain his excitement. He bounced into the car with his backpack, phone in hand, talking non-stop about the games, trekking, and campfire activities he was looking forward to. His mother gave him a gentle smile. Abhi enjoyed the trip and the meals they served. This is a good chance to see how to eat properly with others and appreciate your food. Don't worry, Ma, I'll be fine, Abhi said casually, already tapping away at his phone. On the bus, he stayed glued to his screen, chatting with friends and checking messages. Around him, other children were laughing, sharing snacks, and pointing at the passing scenery. Abhi barely even noticed. When they arrived at the camp, the teachers handed out the first meal, a simple packed lunch of sandwiches, fruits, and juice. Abhi peeked into his lunchbox and frowned. Ugh, this bread looks weird. Can I have something else? He muttered, still scrolling. The teacher smiled patiently. You'll have to eat what's given, Abhi. Everyone gets the same thing, she said. He shrugged, unconcerned. Fine, I'll eat later, he said, going back to his phone. Around him, other children were enjoying their sandwiches, laughing and savoring every bite. One boy finished his fruit and said, This is really good. I'm going to eat slowly so I can enjoy it all. Abhi noticed them for a moment. A tiny thought crossed his mind. Huh? They all seem so happy. Maybe I should eat a little, he said. But just as quickly, he dismissed it and went back to his phone, leaving most of the sandwich untouched. The meal ended, and the students moved on to the activities. Abhi continued to focus on his phone and the excitement of the camp. Still fussy, still distracted, still refusing to enjoy the food in front of him. The bus finally rumbled to a stop, and the students jumped out, stretching their legs and laughing at the fresh air of the camp. Tents were set in neat rows, and the teachers began organizing the groups for activities. Abhi grabbed his backpack, still clutching his phone, barely noticing the excitement around him. Soon, the teachers called everyone for a small snack before the first activity. Each student was given a packet of fruits and a juice box. Abhi peeked into the snack bag and frowned. Oh, fruits! I don't feel like this, he muttered, tossing it aside and tapping away on his phone. I'll eat later, he thought. Around him, the other children happily munched on their fruits, sipping juice, chatting about the camp ahead. Some shared their snacks with friends who were still hungry. One girl said to her friend, I'm a little hungry, but at least we have something to eat. I'm enjoying every bite. Abhi glanced at them for a moment but shrugged and returned to his game, ignoring the snacks in front of him. Just as the first outdoor activity, a short nature trek, was about to begin, a sudden drizzle caused a small delay. The teachers announced that the main meal would be served later than planned and asked the students to make the small snack last until then. Abhi barely noticed, too busy on his phone and thinking about which activity he wanted to do first. He didn't feel hungry yet. The fruit and the juice sat untouched, while his classmates adjusted cheerfully, making the best of the brief delay. Before the trek began, the teacher gathered all the students and asked, "Has everyone finished their snacks? Is anyone still hungry?" she asked. The children nodded eagerly. "Yes, it was delicious," one girl said, nodding and holding her empty juice box. "Yes, the fruits were so good," another boy added. Then one of Abhi's friends hesitated, glancing at him. Abhi didn't finish his snack, he said quietly. The teacher looked over at Abhi with a raised eyebrow. "Abhi, you did not even eat your sandwich on the bus, and now you're leaving the snack untouched too?" Abhi shrugged casually, not looking up from his phone. "I'll eat later. I'm not that hungry right now," he mumbled. The teacher sighed but smiled gently. "Well, make sure you pace yourself during the trek. There's plenty to eat later, but you need some energy now." The students began the trek, winding through the forested trail. The air was fresh, the birds chirped overhead, and the children laughed and ran ahead, pointing out trees, rocks, and streams. Abhi walked slowly, distracted by his phone, occasionally glancing at the scenery, but mostly tapping away. At first, he did not feel hungry. He was too busy talking to friends or thinking about the campfire activities. After the trek, the children returned to the camp, tired but buzzing with excitement. They gathered in the common hall, sitting in small groups and playing word games and other fun activities. Laughter filled the room as students challenged each other, guessed tricky words, and shared funny jokes. Abhi, for once, was fully engaged. He laughed at the clever answers of his friends, cheered when someone won a round, and even suggested a few tricky words himself. For a while, he completely forgot about his food and hunger, enjoying the fun of the games and the company of his classmates. Soon, the teachers announced that dinner was ready. The aroma of a freshly prepared meal wafted through the hall. Students lined up with their plates, excited and chatting about the adventures of the trek. Abhi went to the table with his friends, his excitement from the games still in his eyes. But as he looked at the food, he wrinkled his nose slightly. I hope it's not too spicy," he muttered, scanning the plates carefully. His friends were already digging in, savoring the meal. Some commented on how tasty the vegetables were, others smiled at the warm rice and dal. Abhi took a small bite, chewed thoughtfully, and then paused. "It's okay, I guess." "Not bad," he said, putting down his fork. A camp helper came by to refill plates for anyone who wanted a little more. She handed a small chapati to one of the children who had finished first. The child took it, gratefully saying, "Thank you, I'm really hungry. This will definitely help." After giving the chapati to the child, the camp helper glanced at Abhi and came over. She knelt slightly so she was at his level and gently said, "Abhi, I noticed on the bus that you did not eat your sandwich and now you're leaving your dinner too. Your friends are enjoying their meals and you're missing out. Food is a gift. Try to value it." Abhi looked at her, a little embarrassed, and shrugged. I'll eat more," he mumbled, picking up his fork again and carefully taking a bite. He said to himself, "It's okay if I don't eat, as the food is very average." He threw the leftovers and thought no one saw him, but the camp helper did see. The next morning, rain still drizzled outside the tents. The children hurried to the dining hall, chatting about the day's activities. But when they arrived, a teacher announced, "Good morning, everyone." Because of the heavy rain overnight, some of the supplies couldn't be delivered. "Unfortunately, there's no breakfast prepared this morning. You'll have to wait until lunch." Abhi's stomach gave a sudden pang. He remembered the sandwich on the bus, the fruits he had ignored, and the dinner he had thrown away the night before. Now there was nothing around him. The children murmured quietly, adjusting to the situation. Some sat patiently, talking or planning the day, while others sighed in disappointment. Just then, the camp helper appeared with a small tray. She smiled gently at Abhi. Abhi, she said, I noticed you did not eat much last night, and breakfast isn't ready yet. I have a few leftovers from last night, just enough for you. If you want, I can give them to you while we wait. Abhi looked at the tiny portions, just a little dal, some chapati, and a few pieces of vegetables. But it smelled warm and inviting. He hesitated for a moment, remembering how he had wasted food before, and then nodded slowly. Yes, please, he said quietly. Abhi sat on a small bench near the dining hall, picking at the leftover food the camp helper had given him. He frowned slightly and muttered, This dal, it's okay, I guess. Not like the one at home. The helper sat down beside him, quietly smiling. You know, Abhi, she began gently, this food you have in front of you did not just appear here. Farmers worked hard to grow the grains and vegetables. People harvested, transported, and cooked it all to reach you so you can eat. Abhi glanced at her, still chewing but listening. It's easy to think food is always there and we can waste it if we want. But every meal is a blessing, she continued. In our tradition, we honor Annapurna Mata, who provides food for everyone. She reminds us to respect what we have and be grateful for it. Even a small portion of food is valuable. Her blessings are important for us as she is the provider of food. Abhi paused, realizing that this tiny plate he had been complaining about represented so much effort, the sun and rain that grew the crops, the hands that worked in the fields, and now the helper who brought it to him. He took a slow bite, savoring it more than he had ever before. A small thought crossed his mind. I wasted my sandwich yesterday, and this little food was really a gift. The helper smiled, seeing him eat more carefully. She did not say anything else. Her words had done their work. Abhi continued eating, finishing the small plate with a sense of respect he had never felt before. All children then gathered to play games. The activities kept the children busy. It was lunchtime now. The helper was serving lunch and smiled at Abhi, reminding him of the conversation they had earlier. By the end of lunch, Abhi's plate was nearly empty. He felt quite satisfied, not just because he was full, but because he had finally noticed the value of the meal in front of him. The children packed their bags and gathered for the bus ride home. On the bus ride back, Abhi sat quietly, thinking about the simple food and the other children enjoying their portions and how much he had wasted before. He remembered about Maa Annapurna. When he reached home, he ran inside and hugged his mother. You must be hungry, Abhi. Should I order something from outside? She asked. No, Mom, make your dal and sabji, just like the way you always do. I will eat that. And Ma Annapurna will be happy, Abhi said. His mother smiled in surprise. Ma Annapurna? How do you know about her? She asked. Abhi's face lit up. The camp helper told me, he said. His father joined them at the table. So, Abhi, how was your trip? What did you learn? Abhi thought for a moment. I learned that every meal is a gift. Food does not just appear, it comes from farmers and cooks. And it's a blessing from Ma Annapurna. I want to appreciate it and not waste it anymore. His father nodded. That's a very important lesson, Abhi. I'm proud of you, he said. That evening, as they sat down for dinner, Abhi ate carefully, savoring every bite. For the first time, he truly appreciated the food on his plate. Sai Hira Bal.